la 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 la
La Metro brings
All right. Episode 12 of Playback at PAT. I'm Alex. There's Joe.
Hey.
There's Lily. There's Dez. And that's it.
What's up?
And we are reviewing and talking about the 2004 film called Mean Girls, which is coincidentally my favorite movie of all time. And I don't know why that's a coincidence, but I just felt the need to say that word.
How do you feel that you were only 3 years old when this movie came out? I'm sorry, we're young.
Honestly, heartbroken. Because I'd like to see it in theaters, but I was just not allowed to or knew what was going on.
Oh, I definitely saw it in theaters. This was like while I was in high school too.
Is this
Perfect
what high school
timing.
was like in the 2000s?
Wait, you were really in high school in 2004?
When did this come out?
2004
Yeah.
Oh, 04.
for us, Joe.
Yeah, 'cause
So
I
you
gra-
were a freshman, sophomore?
Yeah, I think I was a freshman.
Okay.
That
Makes sense. Because I would have been in 6th grade, so I would have been because
Yeah.
I'm 3 years younger than you, right?
I think so.
Ish, yeah. Yeah, so I would have been middle school.
Babies.
Mr. B, when's your birthday?
March.
Mine was May 25th.
Mine is in 6 days.
I didn't get a happy birthday from anyone in this room besides Lily.
Dude, how would I know what your birthday is?
My Instagram.
He doesn't shoot you that
Let's
follow.
struggle.
Oh, no,
Right,
I've been shooting the
anyways.
follows back
I didn't-
lately.
Did
Have
you
you guys
follow
not
me
seen?
back? Did you follow me back?
I think I must have.
Yeah,
He's
I
been
think you
posting
did.
I've been
lately.
Oh, I
having
know. You've been posting a lot lately.
I've been having that IG comeback.
I'm
Every
like,
time I see you post something, I'm like, so how do you pronounce that? And then I try to think about it in my head, and then I say, just swipe.
So, Luck, what's happening?
Wait.
What?
Finish that mystery. How do you pronounce it?
Pronounce what?
your
Your
Instagram name.
Your handle.
Oh, it's Marco Valdo.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Luck,
It's a book.
And this is a book. Movie
This is
based
also
off
a
of a book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
During the opening sequence, I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I was like, oh, that's weird. you
Yeah.
know?
So the book it's based off of is not like a narrative. It's almost like a self-help book. It's for parents that have like teenage
just-
kids.
Yeah.
And it's called Queen Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman.
Oh, Rosie.
And then it was written by SNL's Tina Fey.
Yeah, this
She's
is
a queen.
I
amazing.
literally love
yeah.
Tina
I love
Fey.
her.
Tina's
Her and
dope.
Amy Poehler, like
Iconic.
I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
they could plan my funeral, and they can
I would
still
be okay
do
with it.
That's
I
awesome.
want to go to their funerals. I feel like it would be fun. Like
Me too.
funny.
Like,
I feel
it'd be so
they would
fun.
like make it funny.
And they had a couple other members of the SNL cast in it too, which I
Yeah.
heard had like some pushback.
Ooh.
All right.
What do you mean?
So the producers didn't want it to come across as an SNL movie. So I know it's Tim Meadows was also there, and then I'm not going to be able to pronounce her name. The one that played Katie's mom, it's Anna something.
Oh, yeah.
Anna
Gasteyer.
Gasteyer.
Yeah,
Come on, you've been
on that
butchering other
too.
names.
That's true. That's
Why-
my history here.
Why stop now?
Can I pronounce anything?
No.
So a quick brief
Yeah, tell us about
overview of this movie.
If you haven't seen it,
If you haven't seen
Miracles.
it, it's a pop culture phenomenon and my number one on my favorite list of movies of all time. But I don't think anyone knows that list because I don't even know that list except for number one. But Mean Girls
It's day to day.
is about
right?
the is she a protagonist?
Yeah. Lindsay is.
She's narrating, yeah.
Narrator
Yeah.
Katie Heron, or Caddy, who is educated in Africa by her two parents, who are also scientists. When her family moves to the suburbs of Illinois, Katie finally gets to experience public school.
Wait, hold on. This is Dez's typed overview.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm vocalizing it.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead. Continue.
this
All
is
right.
more for you to like say how
Why
you
did
felt
I think
about
this
it.
I've done
took
this-
place in Washington? The entire
No.
time I thought it was Washington.
And so I'm going to continue this so we can just cut
Oh, go
the
ahead.
cuts
Go ahead.
that everyone keeps on interrupting me.
Oh, wow. Taste your own medicine
Just-
here.
Wow, this is weird. I literally can't say anything.
Continue,
So
sir.
Katie finally gets to experience public school and all of the high school social laws like popularity, and it divides her from her fellow students and the life of being in a clique. She unwrittingly finds herself in the good graces of the elite group of cool students called the Plastics, which is composed of Regina George, Gretchen Wieners, and Karen Smith. Katie soon realizes how her shallow group of new friends earned the nickname. Dun dun dun.
All right, Alex,
All
you did a
right.
really good job of reading that aloud.
Kill
Thank
it.
you.
Are you gonna popcorn to someone else like we do in class?
Well, since we all know I created the EQs of this podcast,
Yep.
I added a lot of EQs.
Oh,
my God, I'm
awesome.
So I
nervous.
just think a good way to introduce this movie
Oh my God, is
is
it
with an
in- or-
EQ.
Is it in your notes?
Pull up the
So
notes.
the EQ is, who is your favorite character or characters of this movie? Because there's a lot of characters to pick from.
Yeah.
I like Tina Fey's character. I'm gonna start off. I liked her character.
What's her name?
Miss
Miss
Norberry.
Norberry.
Yeah, Miss Norberry.
She's a pusher.
She I feel like she played like a high school teacher really well.
For sure.
I felt
yeah.
like I just felt like that was like a good embodiment of that. And I like Damien, particularly for his line where he's in the girls' bathroom and he's like, "Danny DeVito, I love you."
I
Oh my
love
God,
her
Danny
work.
DeVito, I love your work.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
That was like
Is
the first
amazing.
thing that really got me in the movie. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, those are probably my two favorite characters.
Des.
I would have to say Janice, who's Lizzie Kaplan, who I love anyway. Her character I definitely relate to.
I see that. The art.
Yeah, and then Kevin G is
Oh,
also
Kevin G.
amazing, and just like I don't know, very unexpected, and ended up being like the best.
Joe.
He was like, "Sorry, I only date girls of color."
Yeah,
Like
at
that-
the
there's,
end
like,
he's like,
little
"What
se-
are you?" And she's like, like Lebanese," and he's like, "I feel that," and I'm like, "Oh my God, marry me."
I was dying. He's kind of like one of those characters that might like slide under for like the first couple of viewings, but then
Yeah.
like when you come back on it, he's such a key role.
So awesome.
He's great.
What about you guys?
Is he your favorite character?
No, I'm gonna go a little off the rails on this one. I was a big fan of Karen.
The
Just for the s-
underdog of the plastics, in my
Oh,
opinion.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I agree.
Just for the simple reason that like Amanda Seyfried is like
Cyphrin?
I don't know how to
That's how I pronounce it.
Seyfried, I don't whatever it is.
You
Seyfried.
don't
Right.
pronounce things right.
Shout out Mandy, but she I thought she played it really well because she
Yeah.
doesn't play dumb in a lot of other roles,
No.
or even when she does, it's like kind of whatever. But
Yeah.
she played it really well, and then like when you see her in other stuff, she's like not like that.
Oh, like
But-
Sophie? Hashtag Mamma Mia.
Oh yeah, I've never
Oh,
seen.
see,
Mamma
I'm
Mia.
not
I
a
just
Mamma
know
Mia
her.
guy, but
I love that movie.
but yeah, she was hilarious in like a self-aware way. I thought she played
Yeah.
it super good. And then Katie's dad.
Oh, shout out
Neil
the guy
Flynn.
from the middle.
From
the middle.
Scrubs.
I
Oh, and
love
also-
him.
No,
I
the
love
janitor
him.
from Scrubs, which is,
yeah.
I mean, Scrubs. I think one of my favorite sitcoms ever.
is amazing.
So good. But yeah, Neil Flynn. I always gotta shout out to him because he's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah,
ever.
I love him.
Yeah,
He's like such a dad in the world of film.
but he was a good dad in this too because he was
Yeah.
like real with her, but at the same time, kind of let her like do her thing.
Yeah, when like they were at the table when she had told him she's failing calculus, and he was like being pretty supportive about it, and because
Yeah.
he knew she'd get through that F.
He could definitely play my dad. I would let that happen.
My
He like
favorite,
looks like he'd be like my dad.
my favorite characters. There we have Miss George, which is played by Amy Poehler.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Such a good
Katie
character.
Heron, because who doesn't love Lindsay Lohan? And Regina George,
We can go back to that.
Yeah.
played by Rachel McAdams.
Oh yeah.
You really
Those
just opened
three-
a can of worms.
Those are my top 3
Yeah.
favorites. Regina George's mom, she's just like so funny.
Everything.
She's
I
loved every I
you
wish she
girls
was
keep
in the
me
movie
young.
more.
I just feel like that part was written for Amy Poehler. Like I
Me
feel like
too.
she
Yeah.
like is able to embody that like kind of like upbeat, like peppy, like all the time, like person so well.
And she had so many good lines. I love
Yeah.
when she's like, daiquiris. And Lindsay Lohan's like, is there alcohol in this? And she's like, God, no. Who do you think I am? Why, do you want some? Because if you're going to drink, I'd rather you do it in the house.
Yes.
And I was like, yes.
Because
I-
I think I don't want to speak for you guys because you're still in high school. You don't want to dry snitch, but like like Des, I know like every group of friends like had that one
Had
house
one
where it was
parent.
like you'd go there and they were like, all right, as long as they're in the basement, like whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like, she definitely reminded me, I had a parent that like would always like end up trying to hang.
Yeah.
The
And
cool mom.
she was like, I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
I never had that,
and
fortunately.
It was always like,
I
all
haven't
right. Oh, really?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I ended up
I
with
have to
one of
think
those.
deep.
And I was like, no, ma'am.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
And I sort of just love how Regina George, as her daughter, she like is the stronger person in the house, where she tells her mom what to do.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
how
she
they've
runs
adapted
them.
with that in the film.
I think it's really funny as well that Gretchen,
Her dad's
Katie,
the owner of Toaster Strudel, the
and
creator.
Karen were all like 18 and 20 when this was filmed, and Rachel McAdams, who plays Regina George, was like 26 or 27,
Right.
playing the
That's
same
such
age.
a common.
She hasn't aged.
She hasn't.
No, she's
She
gorgeous.
really
she's
does.
like
That's such
so
a common
gorgeous.
age
Yeah, she's a dime.
or thing to do. And like when you think of Glee, everyone who played a high school student, they were like 30 years old, and they don't look
Yeah.
nothing like high school
It's
students.
weird
it's
for
such
that,
a common
yeah.
thing
Yeah.
However,
that you see in these movies.
you got a lot of stuff going on in this movie that you can't cast someone who's
Yeah,
under
for
18.
sure.
So it's like you have to do that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, they did have a lot of push and pull with the production studio to keep this movie PG-13. So a lot of lines are, first of all, amazing, but swapped out for lines that were a little more risky, I guess, because they wanted to avoid that R rating.
Did you hear like or read a reason for that, or was that just kind of like what they were going for, like marketing wise?
Yeah, they were going for, so they would like write the most ridiculous version of it and then have to scale it down.
Got you.
And then I read a lot of the cutaway like jokes, you know, when they like interview other people in the
The
school.
students, yeah.
Or they like cut to girls for like just one-liners. Those were like under argument. So like there was like that hot dog joke they had to like fight for, and they like had to bring in other movies. Like they used Anchorman's PG-13 rating as a like an example for a lot of their jokes to stay in.
Wait, is Anchorman PG-13?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
I believe so. I think there's a release of
The
like an
R-rated,
unrated
director's
or
cut.
Okay.
but yeah, it went in theaters PG-13, I
No
believe.
way.
Yeah. So they there was like a lot of like genital jokes in that, obviously. And they were like,
I like
oh,
that
well,
I like how you just divided that into a category. It
well,
was pretty suiting. No,
so when they wanted to do it about girls in this one, they were like, you have to let us do it because it'd be sexist if you didn't, because they got to joke about all kinds of guy jokes, but you won't let us do the same thing for girls.
I have a big flow. Is one of the quotes in the movies.
yeah, the wide set vagina one was a big thing.
All right, time to put that little
I
ready in this.
I don't mean to laugh, but that was like I had the
Joe's
same
like,
reaction to
the
that
L word.
as
I was
Throw it
waiting
back,
to see
dude.
how
Throw
long
it back.
it took you to say that during this podcast, Alex.
It's so
I was
funny.
watching it, and I was talking about the movie with my little sister, and she was talking about the scene where she's like, "Oh, you have a big fat lesbian crush on me," and I was
And
like,
you were
I was
like,
waiting to see how. I was like, "Oh, Alex is gonna say it. Like he's gonna have to."
No, but Tim Meadows' reaction to that, where he's like trying to be helpful and like this, that,
And then he
and
brings
then
in
the
Miss
girl
Newberry.
says that, and he's just like, "Yeah, no, Tina Fey, you step up to this. Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna do this."
And then like the gym coach, or
Coach Carr.
he was definitely an underrated character. He was like, if you do anything,
You'll
you will
die.
die.
Oh yeah,
Him and Train Peck.
I just
Train
Oh,
Pack,
boy.
yeah.
I feel
Coach.
Like there's so
What did
much-
he? Hold on, the
so-
line
Coach
where
Carr. Stay
step away from the underage girls.
Oh, love it.
which I mean, not a funny concept, but in the
No,
movie,
yeah.
hysterical.
Everything's very
Yeah,
like,
for
tongue-in-cheek.
sure.
'Cause he just
That's a lot of
sprints
things
down
in
the
this
hall.
movie.
100%.
Before we shift away from characters to scene, what are your thoughts
Yeah.
on the casting of your favorite characters? Because I just mentioned Lilo and Joe got a little triggered. What are our thoughts on? We'll just go like through some of these.
Well,
Lindsay Lohan.
So Lindsay Lohan and the girl that plays Karen, Amanda Siegfried or whatever, they both were up for Regina George, which is really interesting
And-
to me.
I know Lindsay didn't take Regina George because she was scared it was going to ruin her reputation.
Yeah, after Freaky Friday came out, the
So good.
production house was like, "Oh no, she's too popular. She can't play mean. She's not allowed to. It will look bad." So she got like the protagonist character. And then Amanda, I had heard that she did a really good Regina George. It was really different, but they said it came across more like ethereal and creepy, which I thought was an interesting
I
way
see
to
that from
describe it.
Amanda.
Yeah.
But Rachel McAdams was
She
dope.
killed it.
She embodied this character.
I
so
feel like I
well.
just can't
All
watch
of
The
them.
Notebook
All of
because
them.
it's like that's Regina George. Why is she
I'm
being nice?
the other way around.
But she's
I'm the other way around.
She's a brunette in that movie. Like it's way
But
different.
She sounds like Regina George. So
I
that's why it
have
sticks
to
with
agree.
me.
I
I
guess.
feel like the way she plays Regina George is if you take like her characters from those movies who are always kind of like snobby and kind of stuck up, especially in The Notebook, and you just turn them mean. I feel like you would get Regina George. You know what I mean? If you turn up the mean dial on Allie from The Notebook, you get Regina George.
You think?
Yeah. I
That's
just like
interesting.
I don't know. I feel like she plays like characters that are on the similar vein, and I feel like I feel like Regina George is at the end of the spectrum.
I can't really think of a lot of
But
her
yeah.
other characters.
Me neither.
Oh,
But why do I feel like this is totally a side tangent? But if Game of Thrones was American, she could play Daenerys.
I agree.
Wouldn't that be
I agree.
interesting?
All right,
Yeah.
enough Game of Thrones.
Alex
Rough.
is like, how dare you? How dare you? Has to make a little sign.
Winter has passed, unfortunately, at this point.
Amen.
Yeah, I
So,
thought it was casted awesome.
me too. I
People
feel like
that I wouldn't expect, like, I don't think of Amy Poehler as a mom ever. And she just like killed it with that mom. And it was just awesome. Tina Fey was great. Cause
Gretchen
like,
Wieners, she's so funny.
she
And
is.
so
And none for Gretchen Wieners.
I totally
Yeah.
heard that Regina's parents don't sleep in the same bed anymore. But you're not supposed to know that.
Yeah,
She doesn't want
I love
anybody to
them. I
know
wish-
about her nose job.
I wish a lot of them did more comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
for
agree.
sure.
This movie was 15 years ago too. This is the
Wild.
Yeah,
That's
that
so
is
crazy
wild.
to think about.
Sorry, guys.
Because now we look at where Lindsay Lohan is,
Yeah.
Regina
On a beach house?
George,
In a beach house?
and then Tina Fey. I don't know. Tina Fey, well, right now, more like last year, she adapted the film into a Broadway adaptation.
Yeah, with her husband.
Hmm
Oh,
And she was
that's
pretty,
cute.
like, she was really excited about it because
Yeah.
she started, like, she went to Broadway shows, and that's where she got her inspiration to become a comedian and a screenwriter.
know
But
that.
then it didn't work out, so then she went to SNL. And now it like became a full circle.
I feel like her as Liz Lemon is also very similar to her as this character.
I relate to Liz Lemon.
I love Liz
She's
Lemon. I love
awesome.
30 Rock.
Yeah,
Liz
Tina
Lemon's like a
Fey-
more manic version of this
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there was like a different ending, I believe, where the teacher does get in trouble for like doing drugs or pushing drugs or whatever. I'm glad they took that out. I liked how it went.
Well, so what's your favorite scene of the movie?
Oof.
Many, like there's many scenes that are my favorites, but like what's one of your top faves?
It's a hard one.
Top faves.
I really kind of liked the map scene when Janice
Oh,
first
that's
gives her
my-
the map,
It's my
and they
other
go through the cafeteria and show the different
social
clique,
group.
like
Yeah.
social groups at their table. I felt like that is very reminiscent of high school and to a certain extent.
For sure.
And I just felt like the way it was done and like the like drawn out map to like having like everybody you see them in like person like and like you know what I
Yeah.
mean in the cafeteria. I really liked that. I thought that was really fun.
That was great.
That brings me to an EQ. So we're gonna pause this one and we're gonna answer this. Which table would you sit at? And
that
right here,
was one of my questions.
I have the map.
Oh, can you like show me that for a second?
Well, if your stereotype is not on the map, you can make one up. Like,
Yes.
what was your high school
From what
stereotype
I'm reading,
table?
I'm reading ROTC, freshman,
Language
freshmen,
class?
preps, JV jocks, Asian nerds, cool Asians, fat girls, wannabes, band geeks, asexual band geeks, Damien and the burnouts, and thin girls, girls who eat their feelings, jocks, the plastics, the cheerleaders, and the JV cheerleaders. That's what's on the map.
Now, outside of the context of the movie itself, reading that out loud like is a wild leap. Like you're
Yeah.
just
I
like,
try. I
yo,
try.
Weirdly
like dang. But
triggering in 2019.
but I mean, it was kind of, I guess there's something I wanted to add, like outside of this EQ,
Mhm.
because I would make up my own thing But before I do that, like, do you get? Because I saw this as like kind of a satire of this style of movie.
Yeah.
But what movie would you guys kind of like group this together with? Because I feel like they're all kind of a joke, right? Like all of these are kind of poking fun at themselves. Like not another teen movie, like all those.
But for me, this one does it so much smarter.
10 Things I Hate
Whereas
About
like
You.
not another teen movie is terrible to me.
For sure.
I love 10 Things I Hate About You. I definitely think it would be one you'd watch. And if you wanted a more extreme version, the director Mark Waters, his brother Daniel Waters, wrote Heathers, which is
great
a great
movie.
high school
So
movie.
It's a heavy one.
It's amazing. I love that
good.
movie.
Shout out Stranger Things prequel right there.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, maybe not. It's just Winona, but
Rap
But
game.
like still
Yeah.
iconic.
No,
yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah, definitely those types of movies. I can't think of other. They don't really do high school well in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
Or it's like a backdrop. It's not part of the movie.
And I just
Yeah.
like
The new 21 Jump Street movies were not bad.
Oh yeah, those were great.
Those did a pretty good job.
Um.
But lunch though,
Oh yeah.
how come in movies everybody always has the same lunch? Because we were talking about this the other day that like there's always at different high schools there's always like 4 lunches or like 3 different lunches
Yeah.
where like not everybody is always in the lunchroom at the same time. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you have in movies
It's a
it's
like
a
smaller
movie,
school.
guys.
it's
No
like
one's gonna-
everybody has the same lunch, but
Yeah.
I want to see a movie where it's like you're skipping class to go have lunch with the
Gretchen. With
your
people that
friend,
yeah.
Gretchen has second lunch and Regina has first lunch.
That's what I'm saying.
Mean Girls
They wouldn't
too.
let that happen.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they did Katie's first day. She eats lunch in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like,
Oh, I appreciate the fact
Shout
that
out.
those stalls were shown as small as they actually are.
Yeah.
God, I hate high school.
No
Those
cracks
stalls
in the
were a little
doors, though.
cleaner than most
Oh, yeah.
high school
Also,
stalls.
their bathrooms were huge. That's like that's a myth. That's a myth. Bathrooms aren't that big.
Elementary school bathrooms are bigger than high school
Let's go back
bathrooms.
to the main question.
Not
Oh
joking.
yeah, sorry,
which
tables.
is
What table?
what table would you
Well,
sit at?
I had a wide variety of people I sat with.
Yeah.
Me
Like
too.
I got stoners. I got a wide variety. There was one stoner. There was just really funny people. So it's
But
like
if you
the
had to
miscellaneous.
yeah, but if you had
I
to
would-
stereotype your table into one genre, and it could just be based around you or your table in general. And I know, obviously, every year you get a
Feel
different
like-
group.
You
Not
were
to
with
be
the white
mean.
people.
That's like
She
what
was
mine
with the white
was. Is
people.
mine was the white people table.
Mine was like the everyone forgot
mean, you guys
about
were-
them.
No,
Why
yeah.
are you sitting with the white people?
Those are the people I had English class with. I didn't really have a choice.
Aw, I'm
They're
sorry.
good friends.
Yeah, I'm friends with
Are
like a
they?
few of them.
Oh, that sounded so confident. You're like, there's some good ones.
There are.
They're not like the white people. They're like the
They're
white.
like-
they're like the
Your
white
They're
people.
like
Cool
they're
as the
like
white
the,
people.
yeah. They're not like the white people. They're like the white people.
like the
there's a
mutual
different-
white
yeah.
people.
It's like the less problematic white people for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah.
Well, I named Lily, so I think Lily can name mine.
Alex's is like when you like go on Sims and you hit randomize. That's what it's hit for.
Literally, like
Okay.
It's like there's your LGBT.
So
there's
we'll
your
call your group the
stoner.
leftovers.
can we say the miscellaneous?
I like the
Okay.
Missed.
leftovers.
I thought the leftovers sounds like a
the
leftovers.
crew.
leftovers. Yeah.
Because then there was like that one really normal person, and then there was like
Oh, the one who looks like a
randoms.
sim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Joe?
So mine was the leftovers.
He's like, I play lacrosse.
Well, I was gonna
I'm a
say.
JV jock.
Well, it started out. It would have been like freshman dash JV football for like the first year.
I only
Oh,
did
God.
senior
Maybe
year.
yeah, and then transitioned into like track kids dash miscellaneous. That was pretty. That was pretty much the
but
vibe,
don't
or
forget-
whatever girlfriend I had at the time. If she was at that lunch, I would like go chill for like half of it.
Mr. B's
And then-
shorty,
I was
shorty
just
of the
about to
lunch
say.
table.
Then it transitioned to the teacher's lounge with Mr. B.
Oh, for sure.
That's actually valid. That's
I
actually
feel
Yeah.
like
That's a high
I
school
feel like they
thing.
should have included a teacher's lounge scene in Mean
Yeah,
Girls.
those are,
but
like,
the only
iconic,
teacher
like
was Miss
Nancy
Norberry
Classified.
and like
true.
And the
Mr.
principal.
Yeah.
True.
And
Can
Coach
we,
Carr.
Can
Well,
I
there-
highlight
him.
the fact that his name is Mr. Duval, Principal Duval, as in Shelley Duval?
Mr. B's boss.
There are actually multiple teachers in the movie during that like really quick cut sequence where Katie's talking about like I've never had adults not trust me before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the French
yeah.
And,
teacher.
yeah. Well, I think it was a
It was
German
German.
teacher. Yeah.
And then there was like
Whoops.
the guy who was like, "You need the lavatory pass." And she's
No.
like,
Can I
"Can
have it?"
And he's like, "Absolutely."
And then there was, like,
not."
Nice try.
The principal's assistant who was in charge of the spring fling dance.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the gym
ballads,
teacher.
folks.
So there's like a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I like that they included that scene because like it is weirdly frustrating, and
Yes.
that's something like still as an adult, I'm like I don't understand why we do this to kids. Like if a kid got to pee, let him pee.
Oh, don't
Like-
talk to people about bathrooms.
No,
I
because
know.
you know that we and or children in general will abuse that if you just
Some
let them go
people-
whenever.
Well,
Some
puberty high
people will,
abuse.
but like
I did
it
for sure.
definitely sucks
I'm
when
like
you
judging
have
Joe as
to
a
pee.
person.
I know.
I
Dude,
like,
what? I was 14.
all
What do you
right,
want
and
from me?
I'm sick. I was 18 and I didn't abuse the bathroom.
I mean, that's
I didn't
on
even
you.
go to the
but-
bathroom in high school.
No, because you couldn't, because none of the bathrooms are open in the entire school.
See, I didn't have to deal with that. Does
Yeah,
what was your?
sorry.
Were you a bathroom pass abuser, or what was your?
No,
No.
I don't remember them saying no. There's that thing where like if you're part of the smart group, you definitely get like privileges that
Oh,
other
100%.
kids, which
Hall
is
passes are
super
just-
unfair.
It's just a way of getting kids in trouble.
We
That's what
weren't
hall passes
allowed-
are.
we weren't
Yeah,
allowed to
valid.
wear like hoodies, but I don't remember ever like I always wore my hoodie, always wore it up. No one ever said anything, but I'd be walking next to someone that was like a troublemaker, quote unquote, and they'd get called by our dean of discipline, but I wouldn't, and I thought that was like really unfair.
Right.
But it wasn't like I was gonna be like, "Oh, hello, yell at me too." But yeah, so I didn't have to worry about that.
That is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
What was the earbud policy for you guys?
Oh,
Absolutely not.
bad.
Because ours was heavy.
Absolutely not.
So
We're
it's
not.
so
we
bad.
weren't allowed to.
No.
I didn't. I stopped doing it senior year.
Yeah, it's just like not worth it.
I like.
And my sophomore year, they made us. Everyone was supposed to tuck their shirts in because they showed us a video of a guy hiding a bunch of guns in his hoodie,
My God.
and was like,
I thought you said my guy. I was like,
and
I did
this man literally had like a shotgun stuffed down his leg, and like they were like, "This is why you have to tuck in your
yeah,
shirts."
but you
and
wouldn't
I was
see
like,
him packing with the way he's walking.
I knew that. Everyone with half a brain cell knew that. But they were like, this is why you have to tuck. They made people like dudes tuck in their hoodies to their shorts. It was it was not a good
It's-
look.
That is a good.
I
I
can't-
feel like the
literally
second
can't do
you
that right
become
now.
part of administration at any school, you lose about 80% of your brain cells. They're just gone.
Well, wait.
Tell that
there
to-
are some
Sorry,
really
Mr.
great
B.
teachers.
Tell that to the real Mr.
no,
B.
that's why I said administration,
Oh,
I know.
not
that's true.
teachers.
That's why I was saying
Fact.
tell that to my dad.
Why? Is he administrator?
He is, yeah.
all right,
Why did I
and
think he
he's
was a
gonna take
principal?
those headphones out
That's
of your
administration,
ears.
isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it
but
is.
Is he
Yeah.
a principal?
Yeah. He is now. He used
Yeah.
to teach.
Mr. B. Oh, wait, so he's Mr. B.
Yes.
So you're
Which is why I think it's so funny when you
Wait,
guys
no,
say
wait.
Mr. B.
He's Principal B. You're Mr. B.
Valid, yeah.
Where is he Principal B?
At St. Raphael's in
parish school.
Medford.
In Medfa?
Medford.
Medfa.
Bo can be Mr. B squared.
I love how you guys just like
Wait,
know
Is
all my
Boaz,
family's
is
names.
he a teacher?
No,
No.
he's an electrician.
Oh, I thought he was a substitute. You thought you were going to say that.
Nope.
So it would be Mr. B cubed.
Back to the essential question.
And he would have sat at the car kid table, my brother.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
Car boys are just horse girls. But
That's
for
what
boys.
we've established this, and he agrees actually.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Kind of
I'm sorry
amazing.
that he went through that.
But if you own it, it's tight. Because now I
Yeah.
can actually like be like, hey, Bo, what's going on with my car? And he's like, oh, let me just take a look.
Bo.
Boaz.
Bo guy, take
So
a
where
look.
would you?
kid.
You said. So what's your final stance? Where would you sit?
Well, I gave you two answers. It
Yeah,
was
he
the
did.
beginning and
Then
the end of high school.
Des, did you say it?
No. So I had a different lunch every year. So every year I sat with different
Yeah.
people.
I just did my
Right.
Us
senior
too.
year.
I did our senior
The
year.
freshman year, I sat with the drama kids because I was in drama. And then I got kicked out of drama / quit drama.
Wait, so can you elaborate briefly?
There was some controversy, no big deal.
Yeah, that's all.
There was some controversy, and some
I thought we
people
were gonna go
cried.
around sharing some.
I
bad
yelled, some
memories
people
from-
cried, and I decided to part ways respectfully
I'll share
and
a bad
never look at that
memory
teacher in
from
the
high
eye
school.
again.
She was honorably discharged from the drama community.
It sounds like it was
Yeah.
dishonorable.
Listen,
Depends who's telling the story, I guess.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think I was speaking up for what was right, and everyone around me was speaking up for idiocy. Okay, so I would say definitely like, I think they're called the art freaks in this one, but wherever Janice sits, I had colored hair, wore really weird clothes, and I just like grouped with those people. And then like I had a bunch of friends from the film school I did, so we'd all just like sit together and chill. And I'm pretty sure I sat with like my cousin one year. He was like chilling with us too, because he didn't know anyone in that lunch. So yeah, I would say like the creative weirdos or the art freaks. That's definitely where I was at.
Did you guys have open lunch?
No.
What did explain that?
You can like go off campus.
No, that's,
We-
I feel like that's
we
just
did
not a
leave,
I feel like
Massachusetts
that's a myth.
thing.
No.
No, I have a friend who goes to Manchester, Essex, who like gets like Chinese food delivered during lunch.
That's just
I-
like
Times have
I
outrageous.
remember
changed. You
people
could
getting
deliver it.
delivery stuff, but
And
my
like, they
best
can you sit outside? Would you be able to sit outside for lunch?
no.
No.
Yeah, neither they can.
My
They're all rich.
best friend went to high school in Florida. You could sit outside for lunch and like just leave. It wasn't. They didn't have halls. They just like had outside and.
I've seen that in
It's
like,
like
I've
that
seen
in
that,
Cali
yeah.
too.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like they just like walk from class to class outside.
Oh, what
It's
fresh
not like-
air must be like.
and like
I know, it's not like a
and like
sale
lockers
building.
are outside.
Yeah, in like open hallways.
What
basically.
happened if it rains?
There's
It's-
roofs,
there's
but
roofs.
No, but like
Poor,
if it
like
leaks.
oh, I mean, what if it leaks in a regular thing?
Meanwhile, multiple teachers from Gloucester High have got building sickness. Good times.
What?
Explain more.
But we used to go off to certain teachers
Yeah.
were chill if we would like get them something.
yeah.
So we would go to Sclafani's, which was a
Yeah.
sub shop dash bakery that was open the morning until they felt like closing
Yeah.
most days. And we would go get lunch there, and they would have the best Italian subs.
So you
I
could
gotta
leave.
I gotta say they go no. If you got caught, you get in mad trouble.
Oh.
But if you got back and no one caught you and you got the teacher something, then you were good to go.
Oh,
So
okay.
you just had to
Including
find someone
staff.
with the car. Yeah, that staff were in on it.
high school
depending.
tip: become friends with the teachers because
Oh,
you get all the special
100%.
Yeah,
perks.
Facts.
absolutely.
Treat them like
Facts.
this is their job, but you're like their coworker.
Do you remember
Treat them like they're
Help
a
them
human
help
being.
you.
sophomore year? Me and Alex did this thing called Lunch Bunch with the DECA teacher at the high school.
And this guy's like
And,
77.
Yeah, he's old. He's a little bit loopy, but he would go and he'd like order us like pizza and he'd like get us fries.
He
from,
got
like,
us
Blondie's.
Cane's
He got us
donuts
Cane's
once.
donuts once. Like we would eat in there, and then we
Yeah.
would just like talk, and like he would be like, "I got a bag of chips. Who wants a bag of chips?"
Yeah.
And like I
So-
never had his class, but he knows my name, and he doesn't know a lot of people's names.
Shout out to him.
Having a good teacher is amazing.
Be
You know-
friends.
Do you want to know what his
teachers.
name is?
Lenny B.
Mr. B.
Mr. Oh, there he is.
There-
It comes
yeah,
full
you
circle.
know.
It does. It always does.
We had a I took this culinary arts elective.
Yeah.
I think it was my junior year,
Mhm.
and the teacher for that, chef,
Yeah.
he Chef Reardon, but he is my dude, and we have the same birthday.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the man.
You just have to become friends with your teachers, like, and then
For
they
sure.
like do stuff for you, like,
Yeah.
and then they're like nice to you too, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Des, you get tight with any teachers when you were in high school?
I was tight with the drama teacher freshman year.
For a hot minute, and then it,
She was really awesome. No, honestly, I have such a bad memory. I couldn't tell you a teacher's name.
Really?
I really can't. I wasn't close to any teachers. I did an after school program that was a film program, and I like idolized my teacher there because he like knew about film and like he would talk to us like we were people and not like dumb
That's
kids.
Like, that's the line there is when your teacher talks to you like,
Yeah, and not a lot of teachers did. I did have a math teacher that would like insult us a lot, but in like a funny way.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, okay,
That's
so
like
you.
this year for
Yeah.
this year for me.
So I like liked that, and then I had a teacher, a law teacher, that was just like super smart and like gave me extra work and like really like helped me a lot. So I liked that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say my after school program teacher was really my favorite teacher.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know this goes way far back, but we were talking about favorite scenes, which
Yeah.
inspired all of this.
Very
oh my
true.
God.
Very true.
Lily's
Lily,
favorite
what's
scene.
your favorite scene?
Sorry.
The cafeteria
That was the
scene.
calf. It was mine.
Yeah.
This is where this all started.
What about
Jazz?
you? Oh, okay. Ooh, they're all good. But I would say that the winter talent show or
Yeah.
whatever that, I don't know what it was called.
The Winter Talent Show.
Was it the Winter Talent Show? Was pretty amazing. Damien singing Beautiful, their Jingle Bell Rock. The scene where he gets hit with the speaker.
Iconic.
How did they even film that? I'm a filmmaker. I don't know. It's the best practical effect ever done.
Wait, Jason getting the
When
speaker
he get
kicked at him.
knocked in the face, and I'm like,
There's no way they couldn't have done that without doing it.
I'm like, they hit him in the face, right? That's how that was
It
filmed.
was probably just like a foam speaker or something.
I just hope
Actually,
they knocked him.
There's something about that scene at Peabody High School with our TV program. We do a winter special the day before like school leaves. It's called Festivus. And my class we were basically in charge of the whole TV program. So we were in charge of Festivus. And I picked for the intro to be the Mean Girls Jingle Bell Rock
That was
dance,
funny.
Yeah.
but gender swap. So instead of the plastic,
yeah.
it's a boy group doing it.
It was funny.
Yeah.
And like we had like teachers be like the parents in the crowd. And so me and my friend Ashley, who all you guys have met pretty much,
We've seen your video.
We did
yeah.
the video together. We watched the scene so many times to get every part and every step of the scene correct. And this was like 7 a.m, so it was a lot harder than it seems. And so
literally
we
anything
had
is
to
possible at
use
7 a.m. I have to say
we had to use like a foam like fake speaker, so when we threw it, kicked it at the person, and we used foam, and it's like impossible to do because of where the stage starts.
Oh my God, and where the seats
Oh,
like
yeah.
that space.
You'd have
it's
to
so
punt
far.
it.
You have to like kick it. So we like that was a process, and that scene I will always remember that scene
Yeah.
as
And-
I know it so well.
And it also has Kevin G's rap, which I love.
I can just hear him finishing the.
Yeah,
verse.
he's a
Kevin G.
calligrapher now. He does like really fancy, like
on Instagram. Can I follow him?
I think so. He does
I
like
love
that's
those
what he does. He'll
videos.
do like big signs for companies where you walk in and it's like all fancy. he
Yes,
does like
Kevin
wedding
G.
stuff. But that rap is amazing. If you look up online, you can find a behind the scenes of Amy Poehler doing the rap. Because I guess he didn't know how to like move his body, so she was like, "Here you go."
See, just leave it to Amy Poehler.
That would be
She'll
Alex
get
if you had to
through
rap.
life.
He would not be able to move.
I would.
If
I would
Amy
record you a
Poehler was my
video.
like
Your muse.
boss to do
Yeah.
that rap, I'd get me going. Joe, what's your favorite scene?
Mr. B.
This is a tough one, but I think I'm gonna go with the scene that leads up to the map. So where Katie is asking a bunch of questions, and she's showing Janice and Damien her schedule, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, this next class, it's in the back building. We'll take you there."
Oh yeah.
And
It
they
was
take her out
burned
to
down
I
in
was thinking that, like,
1987.
they
I feel
take
like
her
every
out to the
school
field.
has one of those. Did you guys have something like that?
or like
Yeah,
a fake place.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
but
What
it
was
was
ours?
We have two. So you want to go around? Do you have yours? Do you have one? Did Gloucester High have one?
what as far as like a place you could go and like not
like
get caught.
like a fake place, like your like high school lore.
Yeah. So we had a pool on the 4th floor, because when you go up the stairs at my high school, you go to the 3rd, which is our top floor,
Yeah.
and it keeps going. The stairs keep going, but it's gated off.
Yeah.
So there was like the big thing to tell freshmen, like that's where the pool was, but it got
Yeah.
closed. But that is all like absolute lies.
Peabody High had there's a pool on the roof.
Yeah.
And then we also have the staircase to nowhere. So there's
but
like
you do have a staircase to nowhere.
there's the middle of like the A house, I like to call it, and so you can go
Corridor.
all the way down those stairs, and
Your
it leads
school is
to
confusing.
absolutely nowhere.
Mad confusing.
It's like you just like you do it. Everybody's done it. I've done it. I've gone down it. You've gone down it.
Maybe I just can't remember.
I went halfway down it, and I was like,
yeah, I've done that.
and then I turned back around, and then you like look like a fool because you're coming up the stairs, and everybody's like, yeah, I know what happened. There's no way of hiding it. And then you walk up, and you're like, oh my god. So like, did Gloucester have one?
I guess I'm still trying to think of like what we're even going for here. Like what's
Like the
Like
mysterious,
Like
we
something
all
you
know it
tell
doesn't
freshmen to like
exist.
fool because like there was pools in the ceiling. We have the staircase to nowhere. Like what was
There's a
yours?
class down there.
Yeah, like
Oh man, I wish Gus was here so that we could like bounce this off each other because I haven't been.
We all wish that.
I bet
Yeah.
I
rip
haven't.
in peace.
I
We should
have.
try to call him. What is
Rest
he
in
doing?
peace.
No.
Pepperonis.
Continue. I have a few more questions.
I have not stepped foot in Gloucester High School in a very long time.
Okay, fine,
But
Joe.
I
But
think there was. It was more just like
The janitor lives in the basement.
it used to be, I guess, like the lecture hall, and you
Yeah.
could like kind of like in Mean Girls, like there was that top section where you could like climb in. So it was like basically they used to have study hall, which is
Yeah.
like basically a free period where you could like go and do homework
Yeah.
and stuff midday. And so like pretend the audio board is like the room, and like there's like a hallway entrance that you walk up like into it, and so there's like, and then on either side there's mad seats. So on either side of that hallway is like kind of like a platform almost, like just like a lip. And so you could scale that and get into the projector room and like climb in. And people used to like climb in there and like hide in there for like mad long. And so it's basically like where they caught the coach.
I was about to say that.
In Tran
Car.
Pack. But
Like above the, is it above the projector room?
that it is the
Yeah.
projector
Or
room.
is the
yeah.
projector
Above
room?
the auditorium.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
projector
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. So this is like a smaller version. It was like a lecture hall.
Okay, we had a room like that in my high
We
school
have
where
rooms.
But no
people
one
went
ever
to
goes
just
in it.
like.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
locked for
There's
good
also a
purpose.
backstage.
It was like a
that people
hallway no
hide
one used.
behind the like stage and stuff that nobody
Yeah.
knows about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, now
That's
they do.
that's none.
If you don't know,
That's private.
You know.
that is
Now they
private.
do.
My favorite scene in Mean Girls is either when Regina George gets hit by the bus. Spoiler alert.
What
so
about-
funny.
what
I
about
I
that,
love that concept.
that foreshadow,
Wait,
like
can
the
I-
first scene
Yeah, can
where
I
she
say?
like almost steps into the
Oh
bus.
my
Yeah.
god! I didn't even realize that was a foreshadow.
I had forgot about that.
Can I say what I think Alex's favorite scene is going to be?
What?
Did she push
Can-
her?
No. Okay, ready. Alex is gonna say when Katie's outside watching the kid play soccer, and then they pull up in the car and they're like, "Get in, we're going shopping."
No, that's
Oh, I
that's
thought
my
you were gonna say
second.
that.
Well, that's like in my top 3. That, and then when they show Regina George's mansion, because I remember
yeah,
watching
pretty
that as a
fly.
kid. I was like, I barely watched the movie. I just saw that one scene
Mm-hmm.
in that mansion. Like, has always stuck with me. That one still of them entering the house,
Yeah.
and then the little sister dancing to Milkshake.
Oh my god,
Oh
that's
my
so fun.
But yeah,
She's underrated.
what Lily said.
Queen.
Deza sounds like the coolest though. A pool.
Yeah, our 4th floor pool.
We had that too.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah,
There's
they
this
definitely said that
one
when I was a
scene in the
freshman.
movie
I'm
when
gonna keep pushing that.
Katie is watching Aaron Samuels play soccer and they wave, and then Regina George beeps at her and says, "Get in, loser, we're
Oh,
going
yeah.
shopping." I was watching that scene like 4 months ago, January specifically.
Yeah.
Don't ask why I know that, but there's this
It
one
was
song.
5 months
There was
ago.
this one song in the background. It's called "Built This Way." It's on the Mean Girls soundtrack, and it's just like such a high school scene to me.
Yeah.
And like now that I'm leaving high school,
He.
I'm gonna remember it.
Are
Oh,
wise.
wait.
I like
to
cried
it.
Is
at
that
that
the one
scene.
by
IES.
what's her
It's like,
face?
Samantha, like, something.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan ended up dating the girl that wrote that song.
Really?
Yeah, they
didn't
did it
even
for
know that.
a long time. That's funny.
That's iconic.
Yeah, well, that scene makes me cry because it reminds me of high school life and how I'm leaving it. Respect.
Respect. Any more EQs for us?
Yeah, I have a lot.
Who's got some?
No, I had one and I forget what it is. It was a good one.
What's your favorite quote from the film?
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
one
we
of my
could do that.
EQs.
I do know this movie was like voted on some online thing of like, what's the most quotable film? And it came in at number 2. It lost to The Big Lebowski.
Oh yeah.
But
My-
God,
there's
this
a-
is so quotable.
There's an English teacher at my high school who thinks that this is one of the most this is arguably the most influential film in pop culture of like all time.
It might be.
It's very.
He's like says that this is where a big shift in pop culture happened was because of
like,
this film.
City
Just,
American,
in
like
general, he loves this movie.
It's a good movie.
He's
It's
a
so
king.
good. Who is it?
Sully.
Really?
Yeah,
I had a whole
he
class with
loves
him.
this movie.
This is my favorite movie of all time.
He's iconic.
My favorite quote of this movie, it's very it's not a popular one, but it's when Miss Norberry's at Janice Ian's soap shop, and then and then she asks, she's like, "Why? I didn't know you worked here." And then Janice goes, "Yeah, selling moderately
Moderately
priced soaps is my calling."
Yeah.
Because I've
gonna say that.
essentially used that quote when people see me at cameras. I don't actually use the quote, but I say, "Yeah, sitting at cameras for 4 hours with no break is really my calling." I've
With
said
that-
that to
whoa.
so many people. So that's my favorite quote because it's just so underrated and so funny.
I was gonna say that one, or the one of Damien in the girls' bathroom.
The
Those are my two
Devito
favorite
one
ones.
is so
Those
good.
are my two favorite. I think they're just so funny.
The Danny DeVito one definitely got the biggest laugh out of me
Yeah.
on the view. I watched it last night, and that was like that was definitely the one that got the laugh. However, the whole exchange in the soap store was definitely my favorite, like kind of
What was the
conversation.
restaurant called?
Because she said,
Oh my god.
well, because first she's like, oh no, I'm just here
Something's
with.
Calamity.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
here with my
PJ
boyfriend.
Yeah, she's like, I'm just here with my boyfriend. The guy's like, and then she's like, guys, it's okay.
Teachers can joke.
Sometimes adults make jokes, and then the guy's like, yeah, sometimes my grandma takes her wig off when she's drunk,
She's drunk.
and like,
God, I relate.
I was dying because she's just like, yep, this has been sufficiently awkward. I will see you guys
Yeah.
tomorrow, and then leaves to
I
her
was
second
reading
job
the
bartending.
pins on
That scene
on
is
that-
why I don't say hi to you at Target.
Yo, all right.
It's like when you see me at Market Basket and you like look the
And
other
I was
way.
like, because I don't want to tell you. First of all, I don't want you to see what I'm eating. And like,
I
I don't want to
agree.
have a discussion about like,
what you're eating.
I don't know.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
PJ
scene.
Calamity.
on the
Please.
last
That
day of
scene.
PJ on the last day of school, I was like, my teachers would be like, "Bye, I'll see you around. If I see you, I'll say hi." And I'm like, "Yeah, if you see me at Market Basket, you're gonna look the other way. Don't lie." And they're like, and I was like, "Bye."
I gotta say too about PJ Calamities or whatever the restaurant is called. Shout out to the Office Space reference because she's got like the green vest on with like mad
Yeah,
pins and
those
like
pins.
swag.
The flare.
Yeah, flair. That was what it was. Oh my god, the pieces of flair.
Yeah.
That's Office Space is one of my favorites, and
It's
I think
such a
like
good
that. Yeah, no, that was definitely like shout out
I
to
always
that
feel bad for the stapler guy.
Milton.
I like get like weirdly. I'm like, I bet
stapler.
there's people like him.
Bob told me I would move over here and I wouldn't.
I gotta say, Gretchen Wieners has a lot of funny lines that make me laugh.
She
Great
does,
line.
yeah.
Because she's just so living in the, it's high school, everything's about me, high school's so important.
Yeah.
If this happens, if I wear those hoop earrings, I die.
Her reading into the
Julius
story of
Caesar.
Caesar, like directly
Oh,
from her,
yeah.
the Regina thing was just like
So
incredible.
awesome right after the winter show.
It was beautiful.
Oh, when
isn't she doing more
when
comedy?
the Santa comes in with the things, and then he's like, "Yeah, no, none for." He's like, and then he's like,
And
for Gretchen
not
Wieners.
for Gretchen Wieners.
Or for Glen Coco. You go again, Coco.
You go, Glen Coco.
I feel
People are
like,
obsessed.
yeah, I feel like with this movie, it's just like there's quotes from it that I feel like there could be better quotes. that
I
are
know,
used
like
in
Glen
pop culture.
Coco, like that one's so like not.
You know what I mean? Like
funny.
Yeah.
there's things
It's like the
about
tourist spot of Mean Girls.
It is. It
Uh-huh.
really is. Cause like that was one of the biggest problems I had with this movie. Like when I didn't watch it for a long time just because of like everybody's like, oh my god, it's October 3rd, or like we wear pink on Wednesdays. Like it's
Yeah.
Wednesday, we wear pink. Like I feel like stuff like that. Like yeah, it's
Yeah.
like so influential in
Yeah.
pop culture, but also I feel like it overshines so many. Like there's like better lines.
There's
in
such
that.
great lines.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too many great lines.
I just wish that the ones they picked were better. For some, you know what I mean? I just
That
feel like
society picked.
yeah.
Well, you just got to
Yeah.
pick your own.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Make your
PJ
own story.
Calamities.
I'm saying.
Only the
I
real
really
fans would
liked
know that.
when Damien's talking about Gretchen and like how she knows everybody's secrets. And I was like, why can't I hear myself all of a sudden?
Would.
And he's like, that's why your hair's so big. It's full of secrets. And I was like, I like that.
I really like
I
how
was like, this is my new fidget spinner.
Damien like reviewed all of them like an Entertainment Weekly article of each plastic, and he gives the real description. Damien just adds the honest parts of the movie, like the parts that you need to know. He's like that character. He's like like behind him
He's
is
that
all the
character.
information you need to know
Yeah.
to perceive the movie correctly.
And the way he delivers it is such a huge, such a vital part of the way you basically like take in this movie and like digest it almost in a weird, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I also really do like the concept of how there's like this certain duality between high school girl drama and the animal world. Katie,
when she
that's
jumps
so
across
smart.
the table in like her imagination.
And how like
yeah.
like
I'm
that's
like,
so like that
get
that
her.
makes the movie good.
Yeah.
That they have this underlying concept that you really have to pay attention to, and you really have to understand how there's like each step you take is you're getting more about this animal world and how that's a metaphor for like girl world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really stop in high school, man. That's kind of just everybody.
Well, I haven't made it past high
It's
school.
not women
and like
specific.
Katie's association with the animal world, like it's leading up to that moment when Regina George leaves the principal's office, throws the burn book copies, and then they all just start fighting, and that guy tells his mom he's scared to pick him up.
Pick me up.
That's literally me anytime I'm at a friend's house, like their mom starts yelling at like the kid, and I'm like, Mom, it's time to go
Like
home
that's such an
now."
important part of this movie and one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Also, I have to quickly mention when Katie starts giving Regina those bars, and then
The Caltine bars.
yeah,
Shane Oman
And-
tells her it's full of fat.
and and then it's Aaron, right? I just like always it's Aaron, the kid.
Samuels.
boyfriend.
Aaron
Yeah.
Samuels.
Yeah, and he's like, "That's what Coach
That-
makes us see."
no,
Oh
that's
no,
Shane
that's,
Oman.
that's
That's
the new
Shane Oman.
boyfriend
oh,
that tells her.
Yeah,
He's like,
the,
oh, I
Oman.
hate them.
he's the rebound.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And she's screaming with the chocolate on her teeth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was beautiful.
So good.
Good moment.
It's just like a super smart movie, and I feel like
that's why
they
I-
don't write smart things for high school age things ever.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
why it got so big. It's because it was
Yeah.
like honest.
And why number 2 did so poorly.
We're
the
not talking
unrelated
about
Alex
that.
literally
We're
is
just not
triggered.
talking
Like
about
if there's
that.
something that's gonna make him tea, it's that.
Which brings us to our next movie that we're going to be watching, Mean Girls 2.
Joe's top 5.
That's actually my top 3, if you wanted to know, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any favorite references where this movie's been referenced? Like we mentioned in The Shining, how there's
I have one.
all have in like The Shining, there's so many references, and then we all said ours.
I liked in Citizen Kane how, like, right at the beginning, they just, sorry, that's a Washed reference for you guys.
No, I like that. Obama tweeted a photo of his dog.
I was about
I
to
love
mention
that one.
one.
And
Yeah.
he's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. And I was like, yes.
Fetch.
He's like woke. Love
Mean
him.
Girls woke.
I gotta say that Thank You Next music video where it had the
Yeah.
Mean Girls winter show,
Yeah.
because that music video was the reason I rewatched the movie and then realized that how good it is and how I needed to watch that movie at a
There's a
certain
bunch of-
time.
Like high school movie references in that one.
Yeah.
I
And it like reintroduced me to that movie and moved it back to number 1 on my list.
have to say, in particular, just the fact that Kris Jenner was cast as Amy Poehler in the music video.
Yep.
I thought that was so fitting. I feel like that's how the world views Kris Jenner, pretty much. And
I
thought that
love
was
Kris
funny.
Jenner. She's the
I'm not a regular
Dang.
mom. I'm a cool mom.
Yeah,
Wow.
because
Yeah.
like that's how the rest of the world views
Yeah.
Kris Jenner,
That's kind of true, yeah.
and I just thought that was funny.
I love Kris
Kris,
Jenner.
don't
She's
come
so
for me.
funny.
Yeah, you're a queen. Adopt me.
Armenians everywhere may not agree with you on that.
You're
Are
right.
you Armenian?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Do you disagree?
No, I don't. I'd never watched the show at all. I
Kevin
wouldn't
G
even know.
would be into it.
Yeah, he actually might.
Kevin
He actually
G.
might. Well, I don't know what she is.
I really feel like she said she's
'Cause the dad-
Lebanese.
Oh, is
Yeah, she did say she
Janice
was.
Ian?
Because that was
No,
like
I'm
the
saying-
underlying joke of the L word.
I'm saying Kris
Kris
Jenner.
Jenner.
Kris
Oh,
Jenner.
Kardashian.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
No.
'Cause she
I don't-
I'm already over
I don't know
her.
anything about
Because
her.
that
Is
family
mayonnaise
kept
an
the name.
instrument?
of the dad,
dad,
who was the
yeah.
lawyer during the OJ trial.
Yeah.
Right.
And OJ is Chloe's dad, but that's neither
Which
here nor
actually
there.
just got
that's a
confirmed,
different
didn't it?
podcast.
I don't know.
Is that being confirmed right now?
I thought it was. I could be wrong.
I think you're wrong.
I don't pay attention to that TMZ stuff a whole lot, but I saw OJ and I was
You're
like, I gotta
using
check this out.
TMZ as your source when they beat up
Oh my God.
Katie Heron.
I forget.
Who's Katie Heron?
Lindsay
I don't know.
Lohan.
I was.
Oh,
You know how
yeah.
Snapchat does those little
That's like in
stories,
real life.
Get with it.
and it's like
Yeah.
the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
So there was one of them, and I forget why it was this, but basically, I was like tapping through them, and all I saw was the juice is loose.
Oh boy.
And I was like, "This is the best headline ever written."
They
Like, whoever that man is or woman that wrote that, like, peaked at that very moment.
yeah, that was pretty up there. I know Family Guy did an episode called that as well.
The juice is loose.
Like Peter goes golfing with OJ and then is like, no, he's a good guy.
I also this just came to mind. Another favorite quote from the movie is when they're in Regina's room and Regina asks Caddy who sings this song, and she goes, Ashton Kutcher.
Oh yeah. And what did she say after? She's like, "Oh, I love her."
She's like an alien.
An alien. Oh, yeah. There's definitely that thing where it's like you gotta know,
Mhm.
or like you're weird, and it's like okay, just because I don't take in the same amount of pop culture,
Yeah.
you're like, no, I don't relate.
I gotta
Alex is like, I know all the
that-
pop culture.
And
Yeah.
that's what this movie became, is that, like, if you don't take in this amount of pop culture, like, you're, like, kind of like, oh, you're not there, you know?
Mhm.
You don't get it.
It is wild that a movie that kind of rallied against that sort of stuff like turned into one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? About how
Yeah.
like if you don't know Mean Girls, like you're weird. But
Yeah.
like the whole point of the movie was to be like, nah, we gotta just all chill with each other.
That's
Yeah.
like freshman year when I was like, I've never seen Mean Girls. People were like,
Because it's so good.
You can leave. Like
literally, they were like scared. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
I feel like it's like the pop culture, The Shining.
What?
Like it's so referenced every day,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like
I get what you mean,
phenomenally
though.
huge.
yeah,
like
damn.
and like in horror, it's The Shining. That's like the movie that everyone
And,
knows.
like, teen
well, not
drama.
horror, and
It's
like
like
pop
this.
culture, teen drama, teen high school movies. It's Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
Wait, hold up. This director did Mr. Popper's Penguins?
Yeah.
I think I saw that in
So-
theaters.
He did some
He did
awesome
Freaky
movies. Like The House of Yes is really an interesting film. And
Freaky Friday.
so House of Yes and Head Over Heels are both like
Is-
murder movies.
Is Freaky
Freaky
Friday,
Friday
the
has
Leo-
Chad
Lindsay
Michael Murray
Lohan?
in it. And
Is it the Lindsay Lohan?
Yes, it's the Lindsay
yes.
Lohan
I
one.
love
The
that one. And
Jamie Lee.
Oh,
Activia
yeah,
spawns.
Jamie Lee.
my sister had a picture of Chad Michael Murray from
Yo, I forgot she was the yogurt lady.
Activia. How could you forget that? That's
She's
like
just
what.
like-
That's probably like that's the equivalent of like Sandra Bullock is like that lady from Bird Box. Like Jamie
Yeah.
Lee Curtis is like that lady from,
From
Activia
Activia.
commercials.
She's the lady from Halloween, if we're being honest.
She does like
Yeah,
wow cosplays too.
I love
really?
her.
Yeah, her
She's
son's
busy.
super into that
I love
stuff,
how
so she
her
got
and
into
Lindsay
it.
Lohan had to be in a whole movie, and Jamie Lee Curtis was her mom. That makes me happy when
Pretty
I fall
cool.
asleep.
Pretty cool.
Is that what you think about the last thing you think
I
about?
think
before you
about
go to
Lindsay
bed?
Lohan a lot.
I know
she
you
is
do.
one of my favorite
The-
actresses
These
of all
past
time.
5 months, like a day could not go by when Alex
I
wouldn't
literally
text me
needed
about
Lindsay Lohan
Lindsay
to get me
Lohan.
through this last step of high
She,
school.
What?
she was really good in this movie, though.
This was
Yeah.
her peak. This was literally her peak movie.
You
Like, was
should've
there a
watched this one.
time where you didn't believe that, like, her character was where, like, the narration said she was? Like, there was so many changes that she went through
Yeah.
because she, like,
Mhm.
started one way,
She started
started to
Africa.
turn,
Yeah.
turned really hard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
stayed there for a second, was
Mhm.
not sure,
Yeah.
and then started to turn back, and then, like, turned all the way.
Yeah.
She goes
Kind
like in
of,
a
but she
full
was
circle,
still-
Yeah.
circle effect.
Kind
It's
of,
like a
but she,
sine
like,
function.
she still grew at the, like, she didn't
Yeah.
go all the way back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought she did, and I mean that goes to the directing as well. But
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
nailed it,
She did do a
Definitely.
really
Yup.
good job of making it convincing the entire time.
100%.
Like, she went from
embodying.
strange Africa girl to like Regina George's like copy and paste to then like
Yeah.
But
humble.
Trophy.
even when she was doing it, she has that line where she's in the soap store and she's like looking at herself and talking about Regina, and the voiceover says that she couldn't help herself from talking. She could hear people getting tired with her and couldn't stop. And I really liked that line. I thought that was really interesting.
I want to go into that soap store.
Yeah, I can't believe not any of them really do comedies anymore. Lizzie Kaplan does, but like I can't think of Rachel McAdams in a comedy,
No.
Lindsay Lohan in anymore.
Rachel McAdams was really good in a comedy recently with Jason Bateman, Game Night.
Oh yeah, totally.
She's funny.
Why doesn't she do that more? Stay with
know.
that crew too, because that crew does good movies.
They do, yeah.
She's
She
in with
really went
Jason
on
now.
that
She should just
whole-
stay.
And
Like-
Amanda Seyfried did Ted too.
Yeah,
and she was really great.
So good
Oh,
in it. When
yeah.
she smoked
She will
bong in the
Forever
fucking
be
library.
Sophie for
She
me.
did. And she was also like
I
they made
just-
fun of her and called her Gollum, and she like played it off. Like it was so funny. Like
All
she's
of them
great.
end up in these like notebook-esque
right.
like
Dear John.
yeah, like
Dramas.
romances,
Literally.
Yeah.
like letters to Juliet or something was Amanda's.
She did. She was in Les Mis.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was in Les Mis.
She said that this is still her favorite character.
because
This
it's
is like
a
her right out.
classic.
Yeah.
Like her first thing.
When she could predict the weather. With
She's
her
a really good
boobs.
singer.
Yeah.
She's a really good singer. I watched that movie again recently.
There's an 80% chance that it's already raining.
So what are some things that we need to hit on? Because I know we've been pretty much just kind of bouncing around for a bit, but I know we have some classic EQs that we do need to hit, or else our audience of us would be very disappointed.
Yeah,
would be so
Can I
disappointed.
ask one? Can I ask one, please?
Yeah.
Please, please. So
Des is next, though.
I want to do. What were you eating when you watched this movie?
That was going to be mine. There you
Mine
go.
was 7-Eleven Slurpee
Hey.
blue raspberry with a reusable Slurpee straw that literally has the word Slurpee engraved onto the plastic.
I may need to
Iconic.
get one after this, honestly.
99 cents.
Yeah, man.
I was eating a focaccia bagel in the Peabody High parking lot while I was waiting for my sister to get out of school because I was making her get dismissed today.
What was in that bagel?
It was so
Butter.
it's a focaccia, like it's like focaccia, so it comes
Yep.
with like cheese on the outside and like rosemary and herbs and stuff, and
No,
it's toasted.
I know what focaccia is. I
And
was
then
wondering
I-
what the
Oh no,
I
and then I
don't.
just put butter on it.
buddy.
It's really
Butter.
good.
I like it.
But then you get to like the center and like it's just like a mound of cheese and like it's good for like the first bite, but then the second bite you're like, this is salty. And so like I didn't have any water and that was really awful. But
Yeah.
that's where I was watching. That's what I ate
Des.
while I watched.
Still a
this.
good call.
I saw this in the theaters, so I'm sure it was like popcorn with a bunch of crunch in it and a Diet
Yes,
Coke.
yes, 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 yes,
But
yes.
Still need to
If
try
I-
that.
You really
Mr.
do.
B, you gotta.
But if I was to rewatch it, I feel like
rewatch it before this podcast.
I've rewatched it several times, but
too.
I'm screaming.
I didn't rewatch it again like this month or anything. But if I was to rewatch it again, I would go with strawberry daiquiris to be thematic.
Ooh.
yeah, that's so
Ooh.
smart.
That and a protein bar, right?
There you
No,
go.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Protein bars are like eating
I don't.
chalk.
I hate those Caltine bars.
Disgusting.
Joe,
Mr. B.
were we eating hummus and tortilla chips?
So actually, there was hummus involved, but this time
Was
it
it
was.
a crudité?
Unfortunately, I was not. I was not classy enough on this to do the crudité.
Okay.
But I did a. My stomach had been like messed up earlier this week, so I was like, I need to
Yeah.
do something healthy, you know.
Something
So
light,
made
something
my
easy.
made myself a salad. So I did like
Oh.
some greens, chopped up some tomatoes,
Good
did
job,
some
Mr. B.
some what else did I have in there?
Hummus?
I think I had some mushrooms, definitely some hummus, some olive oil, a little bit of S&P,
Okay.
and then like I think maybe a little paprika.
It sounds
Ooh.
like you were channeling your inner Gus.
I was channeling the inner kitchen vibes right there, yeah, for sure.
And then
My
watch
Alex getting my
Caltine
Alex
bars.
Honnold on right there.
Oh yeah, you were. Did
I
you
was.
like hang from your ceiling with just your two fingers after?
I ate it out of this big bowl
Oh my god.
because then I mixed it in, so I just kept it in there.
and like
then
with
I
like a
ate
tiny fork, and it's just like.
I have
big fork, biggest one I could find.
Okay.
I have like a lot of essential questions, but one just that popped up. Who is like the underrated character of like the whole movie,
Oh,
not
I
of like
remember
the
my
group?
question.
I think I got to go with like the secondary character of like the movie is Miss Norberry.
I would say she's the first.
I would say
Say
she's
she's
Really?
absolutely
Yeah.
a
Oh,
character.
I think of just like the classics, Katie, and then like Aaron Samuels.
Her
And
name
that's,
is
like,
the second
primary
one on the
characters.
box.
She wrote
But that's
it.
relevancy, right? Why her name says
She's
Yeah,
relevant
that's
'cause
true,
she's
too.
A. She's A list.
I would say
I would-
Karen all day.
Karen.
Yeah.
Karen Smith.
I don't
wish
know
she would-
why I think she's so
Every time I
funny.
watch that
characters?
movie, I wish she was in the movie more. She had
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
scenes about her. Because it goes Katie, Regina, Gretchen, Karen.
I would have to say either set of parents. I feel like they both did
Oh, yeah.
a really
Yeah,
good
Amy
job
Poehler.
of portraying like kind of like extensions of their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was good.
I would say the wannabes that get interviewed have really great lines.
Yeah.
So, like,
oh, yeah.
she wore camo pants and flip flops, so I wore camo pants and flip flops.
I
She-
once got punched in the
the-
face.
It was
and-
awesome.
It was
The girl who got
awesome.
punched in the face, it was awesome. She was in the Ariana Grande Thank You Next video
Oh.
as the same character.
Oh,
Oh, was
awesome.
she?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Anyone that asked Coach Carr any questions were really hilarious.
Trang Pak, she's the underrated
Oh.
character.
Ooh, the girl that didn't even go here that looked like Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I was
just
like,
have a lot
wait.
of
Is that like
feelings.
a Never Been Kissed reference? Because that was like her teenage, like high school movie. I like that movie. I think it's not one that lives up to today, though.
Mm.
You know, like when you watch it and you're like, whoa, this was like low key problematic. I'm pretty sure it's
Just
one
like
of those.
kind of like this is like kind of like this movie at certain points. I was like, ooh, but then I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's smart, so it always gets away with it.
Yeah.
Another essential question was what, like, if you could make the next sequel, what would the sequel concept be?
Oh,
I have mine. So,
mine would be about them. They all have daughters at the same time, and they're all part of the PTA.
oh my God,
Desiree.
that'd be so good. And Miss Norbury's still at the school trying to
Yeah.
pay off her divorce.
Yeah.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine would be their high school reunion, 10-year, 20-year reunion, because that's
Yeah.
when it all changes and then you
Yeah.
really see what everyone's like.
I wanted to say like in the workplace, just seeing how they fare with someone being like above them, like with a boss.
Yeah.
I was going to go in a similar direction, but like have it be teachers instead of students. So it would be like, like they're older and
Yeah.
then like a new teacher comes in and then like the cool teachers or whatever try to like pull them in
Yeah.
and then it like affects their, like it kind of like goes the
Like-
similar
like
path.
a similar click.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that PTO meeting.
I
I
would
like-
That's
too.
a
I like
really
that.
good concept.
I like that one.
There we go.
That's the winner for
Let's
that.
pitch it.
School,
I
social
agree.
school
Gina.
system.
committee.
Miss Faye, I have something to tell you.
She
Yeah.
joins the school committee.
Yes.
And they have to do the budget, the FY.
Oh my God! Can you
2019 budget.
imagine like adult Katie running against adult Regina for school
Oh
committee?
my
For Zach Stark.
God.
Sorry. I just
Love.
slipped in there.
Yo, shout
Karen,
out
Karen Smith's the
Shout out
weather
young
girl.
Stark.
running against the incumbent himself.
Absolutely.
King.
Vote for
18-year-old.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
20
interested in that
18.
election.
Yeah.
2019,
2020.
2020. It's a year that exists. I don't know.
Where are we?
I don't know
We're in
where
two-
I
we're
am
in
at 90% of the time.
I feel like this podcast room is a liminal space. Where it's just like
Oh, like where places that are slightly like altering reality.
like you go there and like it's like the veil between like this one and the next one is like the thinnest, like a 7-Eleven like on the middle of nowhere highway at like 2 a.m.
Oh yeah.
like
Whenever-
same
Any
energy.
hospital waiting room.
any hospital
Yeah.
waiting room.
Whenever
Like
we're
a
in here,
Michael's
I forget
during the
I'm at
Christmas
work.
season, but nobody's there.
Yeah.
So there's just Christmas music playing, or like a shopping plaza where they're playing Christmas music on the speakers outside, but the shopping plaza's empty and it's dark.
What's about Christmas that it can become so eerie
Oh wait,
so
is
quickly?
Mean Girls a Christmas movie? Because Joe
Yes.
mentioned that.
Oh,
I consider it a
It's
Christmas movie.
frightful.
It's a whole year, so I mean, technically no, but yes.
It
Yeah,
has a
I
huge
watched it.
Christmas part.
I got into it during
But if you're
Christmas
looking
time,
for
and I
Christmassy
recreated
things,
it
I don't
for
know if it would
Christmas.
satisfy that.
It's very
for
much
you.
like a what's that movie? Is blank a Christmas movie? Deadpool? No,
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yes.
Die
like-
Hard is 1,000% a
For
Christmas
sure.
movie.
See?
But again, I guess I understand people's thing because if you were looking for Christmas films and you
You're not
watched it,
gonna watch.
would it
a
satisfy
10-minute,
whatever you're
like,
looking
your
for?
movie
your
would you
holiday
watch?
craving.
There's a Christmas tree in it.
What Christmas movie would you watch?
The
Mean Girls.
The OG Grinch, the animated one.
Oh,
I love both the Grinches.
Oh, I love the second Grinch.
I
the
would
real
go with
live
the
one.
Christmas Story.
I'd watch Mean
Yeah, I
Girls.
love A Christmas Story.
I like
Because
the
now I'm
one
gonna remember it because I recreated
with the
it during
claymation.
Christmas.
And with the
Drop.
Meister Burger, and he's like, yo-yos, I love yo-yos. And like, it's the claymation. It's like, you put one foot in front
is that
of
with
the other.
like the Heapmeister?
Yes.
And,
No, I don't know if it's the
man. And
same one, but
and
like,
the
they're like
snow.
they're like a pair. They're like
Mr.
sister films.
I love Rudolph.
I like when I say I'm the biggest sucker for those two claymation things.
Bumbles
and like,
Bounce.
even if like the little drummer boy comes on after, like I'll be like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll
That
watch
one.
it.
Little Drummer Boy is mad creepy.
It is with like his little donkey.
I
It's
never
so
watched
dark,
it.
I don't
dude.
know if I watched
There's a
it.
Christmas song about that. That's Colombian. I might sing it for you.
See?
Mi burrito sabanero voy camino de Belén. Mi burrito sabanero voy camino de Belén. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. There you go. That's about a donkey.
Can you
Dang.
pronounce
Can
this
we
movie
give,
title?
Can we give Lily a...
Woo woo.
Can you pronounce this movie title in Spanish?
I promise I am ethnic.
Can you pronounce this movie title in Spanish? It's right on the
I may
DVD
not look
copy.
Colombian. Someone was like, you are? When I was like singing it. So I was saying happy birthday to my teacher in Spanish today.
That's not a
because-
surprise.
Because I was like, if you sing it in Russian, I'll sing it in Spanish. She's
Yeah.
like, fine. So I sang it in Spanish, and people are like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I'm Colombian. They're like, like every time someone finds
It's
that
weird
out, they're
when
like,
people do that.
You're
stuff.
kind of the opposite of me, Lily, where like people will see my name and
Mm-hmm.
then they'll meet me and be like, dude, you're like mad white. And then they're like,
Period.
which is true. But then like you'll
my name
like
is Lily Hart.
your Lily
Like, could
Hart
you-
is like you would never guess, but
I could literally like Lily Grace
Like, just
Hart.
based
I
off
could
the
be
name.
from Montgomery, Alabama.
I mean you could be from Boston,
You
Mass.
could be from anywhere. But no, I totally get that. My friend is Puerto Rican and she'll tell people like other Puerto Ricans and they're like, no, you're not. And she's like,
Yeah,
yes,
that's the
I
same
am.
way with us.
And
like,
they're like, oh, you must be like mixed. And she's like, 100%. And they're like,
I'm
you're
mixed.
not.
So like, it's like.
She got that culture and that.
Yeah. So
non-seasoned
and like I
chicken.
wasn't raised
Just, like,
extremely
believe
Colombian,
people.
but like I have it. Like I have
It's
it.
extremely Colombian.
Oh, going to Bajucol every year and wearing those little dresses and those little sandals that are made out of woven straw and they itch like
Wow,
hell.
okay.
Interesting.
I swear to God.
But you know the references.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
I know ha 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 and I know ja ja ja.
When you just want to jaja with your friends,
But I can't.
but you can't because
She,
they're all ha
she
ha
uses
has.
Vosotros and ignores it at the same
Correct.
time.
Oh my god.
My mom can
Why
send
was
me
there not a
ja ja
Spanish
ja
teacher in
memes.
this movie?
Yeah, they did the German teacher instead, I guess.
I feel like Miss Monzo would have been really good in this movie. Just like a character about her.
Yeah, heard
Yeah.
you.
Oh man.
So,
But yeah, there's a little bit about my cultural life, in case you're wondering.
and does anyone else have anything about this movie? Does anyone have questions about me and why this is my favorite
Alex,
movie?
I have
Well, just
one
tell us,
question
what's
for
up?
you. Wait, I have one question just for Alex.
What?
If you were anybody in this film, who would you be?
Ooh.
Like,
Well,
who do you like?
I
who do
really-
you see yourself as?
I really like the how Katie narrates the movie and how she
Okay.
changes as a person throughout
Pick
the
something
course
better.
of the
I'm, like,
academic
annoyed.
year. So
No.
I pick Lindsay Lohan, Katie Harris.
Okay, love it. Alex as the main character, new to a school. I would watch it.
I'm bored.
Aspire,
Who
from
are you?
Africa.
I don't-
Aspiring
I don't really- I
trapeze
don't- I'm
artist.
not like into this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
but
different
who
movie.
do you relate to in this movie?
Let's bring it on.
Who would you be?
I would be Miss Norbury.
All right, so Alex meets new teacher.
And then
Lily.
I call Lily a pusher.
A pusher must be a drug pusher. I mean, I
If the
already
shoe
said,
fits,
yeah,
I
I
mean, I don't know.
She said she had
Janice.
3 side jobs.
Joe, who are you?
I'm gonna be Katie's dad.
Neil
Ugh.
Flynn giving me good advice.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, Alex would be like, "Hey,"
So-
he'd be like, "Hey, how do I put this tripod up?" And I'd be like, "You know what? It's not that big a deal. Like, I got you.
Oh,
like,
and
we'll
then
figure
you'd
it
be
out."
like, Yeah, then you'd get mad at us.
Well, because
You
then
didn't
like
get mad in the movie at all.
whoever the mom character would be like, no, you have to make him do it himself,
He
and
didn't
I'd be
get
like,
mad.
I don't
Got
know.
Disappointed.
Yeah, see,
That's
I was just
Joe.
like,
That's Joe.
worse.
just disappointed.
That's you.
No, I try not to do that guilt stuff with people. You know what I mean? That stuff's not.
Your silence.
That stuff's not.
It's very interesting.
No bueno. I've never
I
guilted
could
you.
pick
Will,
a
get out of
few
here.
important events of my senior year, academic year, socially what happened, and I would love to narrate
Oh,
it
wait.
in
I
the
wanna
sense
go
of
over-
Katie doing it.
What about you? Wait, you guys haven't even gone yet.
What? Oh, I said Miss Norbury.
Oh, you did. Des, what about you?
She's Janice.
I
She is
relate to Janice a lot.
Is that the one you picked though?
Yeah, I would definitely be Janice.
Yeah.
I thought she was dope. I also relate to Damien.
I was gonna say Damien would be mad fun, but I'd feel weird like trying to say that I could be him because like I don't think
He's
I
so
could.
iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not as funny. It's just what it is. Not everybody can measure up to Damien's level of comedy. He's just too high up there.
I agree.
But you should aspire.
I agree.
Right?
We should all aspire
Always
to
aspire.
that. For sure.
Janice, I can't stop this car. I have a curfew.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That scene, hold on. I love scenes
The fight
where
scene
they
is great.
say the movie title. And like it's like a big
Oh,
like
that
it's
name
leading
drop?
up to it, that name drop.
Yeah.
You're a mean girl, Katie. Like I just love it. I get
Was that
chills.
changed from theaters?
I was 3 when this
Oh,
movie came
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Ask me.
Desiree. Sorry. I was not forming cohesive memories at that time.
Locke couldn't buy a movie ticket to this
I
movie.
literally
That's
couldn't.
true.
He was not 13 or older.
10 more years, a decade later, I'd buy a
Literally
ticket.
a decade later.
Oh my god. Imagine them watching this movie for the first time in 2013.
2014.
I really the first
I
time.
don't know, man.
That was an essential question I ignored. When was the first time you watched this movie? Mine was like 2013, a literal
I've-
decade later.
Never watched this through and through. I've only seen it in bits and pieces.
Why?
I don't know. I just never have.
Joe, when did you first see this movie? Like, you lost your Mean Girls card.
Yeah.
I was it was probably a few years after it came out. It was probably in like 06, 07. Cuz I was 10 when it came out. And so or I was like 11 when it came out cuz I'm 93.
Okay.
So so I probably saw it when I was like 13 or something like that. So
Des is like.
I'm
Des is
trying
that
to
meme
do
with the
math.
With the little mouth over your face.
I'm trying to do like some math. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it in theaters. I think, if I remember right, I was dating someone at the time, and like they made me see some terrible dude movie that was like terribly shot and everything in exchange for coming with me to Mean Girls.
did you feel like that was a fair trade?
No, the
No.
movie sucked, and my movie was great.
What was it? Do
I
you
feel
remember?
like I'm.
I want to say it was.
Because we're talking 04.
Yeah, I want to say I've seen a lot of bad movies, but there's one where they like I'm pretty sure it's Jason Statham and they make prisoners race and they like murder them. Death race?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Me and Lily
that
have
right?
no idea what
That's
you're
the
talking
name
about.
of
It is a movie.
Yeah, I want to say it was that one and you just like watch a bunch of prisoners die and I was like, "Oh, okay."
You can watch a documentary.
I just want to
Come
say
watch a
thank
funny
you.
movie.
I want to say thank you to Des for saying my favorite movie of all time's a good movie.
It
'cause
is
that's
such
when
a
I
good
feel
movie.
Like I
It's
did
so
it right.
smart.
My
I have this thing where I feel like a lot of people think that like if you like films, you really can't like comedies and stuff because they're not like done well.
you have
but
to
this
like
is so
call
smart.
me by your name.
Those people are
Exactly.
boring.
Those people
I like
are
that
so
movie.
boring. And I
Yeah.
ran into so many like when I first got into film, or like when I started getting into film outside of my like group that I went to in high
cohort?
school, in college, like literally people would be like, "Oh, like you like this movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think it's like the most cinematic." And they're like, like only Citizen Kane. And I'm like,
Those are the type of people who
"Stop. Like that's not
Yeah.
fun, dude."
Don't
Yeah.
film shame.
That's why I picked
No,
this movie instead of
dudes
after
come,
Dear
like,
Zachary.
I know.
Film shame, man.
That's why I picked. Dear Zachary was so dark and
Right.
murder, and then like even Free Solo had dark moments we touched,
Yeah.
and like that's why I picked this movie to have some fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's like people who are like, they would talk like talk down on comedies and then be like, but you know, Vice was my favorite movie I saw this year. And it's like, do you know the guy who made that also made Talladega Nights? So like let's take a step back and realize that like everybody can like multiple
Read
things
my
at
lips.
once.
He's coming for them.
Yeah,
no, but
you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely
I
a thing
do.
I like ran into so much in college when you meet like other people going into film, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like would love to produce.
Like you film
and
shit.
Being a snob
edit.
helps
I would
nobody.
love to film Mean Girls
And
2,
they just-
the real Mean Girls 2, with the real cast and the real concept of now PTO.
I like it.
You should email Lindsay.
I like it.
I would
I'm
die
pretty
if
sure she's
I-
pushing hard for that. She
Yeah,
said
she
something about
is.
it, about like pestering Tina Fey about
Get the
it.
girls back together.
Tina Fey would well now that I think it's like I don't know how Broadway like musical cycles go, but I feel like it's
they can
almost
play for
done.
a while.
I don't know.
Like
It depends.
it was premiered last year, so like
They-
I'm very
kill it.
ignorant to Broadway.
Is it playing in New York?
They go for
They're
as
gonna go
long
on
as
tours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna like tour the
I'd
country
see
now.
it. I want to see
If
it.
they come to Boston, you want to see it. If it's like the tickets are cheap,
Yeah.
or like we're like here, because I might not be here and you might not be here.
That kind of stuff tours as long as people will buy tickets. Like I mean,
Yeah.
certain stuff will go on for years and
The
years.
Lion King
Wicked
has been
still
going
goes.
on. Wicked,
Yeah,
that's a great musical.
I saw that in
it
New York
is.
when I was 12,
That's a great musical.
and it's still touring, which is
Yeah.
nuts.
There's this one girl who was like discovered at like a karaoke bar,
Oh really?
and she is like so good. She
Shout
plays
out to her.
Idina Menzel character, and then like
Shout out to Dina. I love her.
Queen. I want to say they casted her and Rachel Berry. Like I feel like they're like the same people at different times.
Yeah. And
her
Glee
and
And
Leah
another
Michelle
high
are the
school
same person at
set.
a different time.
concept.
Yeah.
Who would you guys cast as the two main characters, Lindsay Lohan and Regina George, if it was shot today in high school?
Ivy.
No one. No one.
Shouldn't be
Don't
done.
even like mention that because this movie is
I'm
so
like trying to think of
set in a
actors and I
certain
literally
time, and
cannot.
I'm so glad.
Well,
You can't.
if
'cause
time works the way I've observed it, you will live long enough to see this be remade and hate everything about the new one. So, you know, who would you cast?
Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan's
Still playing
twin
a
in The
high
Parent
schooler.
Trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I love Lilo.
I don't know if any.
I'm trying to think of actors and I literally can
literally-
only
'cause,
think of
well,
Lindsay Lohan right now.
Because, like, on our gen, it's not actors you watch. It's now, like, internet personalities that took over.
Ugh.
Okay, all
You
right.
get
Let's
that?
let's go down this
Okay.
road then.
Fine.
Influencers.
Jojo
What-
Siwa.
What internet personality
who?
would you put in?
All of
None.
them. It's a one woman show.
I feel like they'd have like Lele Pons would be like the she
I
would
literally can't
be
hear you
like,
talk about this. I might have to remove myself from this room.
but she's literally a mean girl, right? Like she's
That's
like that
annoying.
person,
I'd
Yeah.
like that whole group.
Jake Paul is Aaron Samuels.
I'm saying like it would be all of that.
You're making me sad.
Shane Dawson could be Damon.
Dude, he's Damien all day.
Right?
That's
She's
wild.
annoying.
Jeffree Star is Regina George.
Des is gonna like boot you off this podcast right
Yeah,
now.
so we're done. We're throwing that book away. Back to the burn book.
Oh, speaking of the guy that played Aaron Samuels,
He made a burn
he
book
made
cookbook.
it's called the Burn Book
He
Cookbook,
was-
and it's a parody cookbook. He
Lindsay-
does like a cooking show, I believe.
Yeah,
too.
when Lindsay
What a
Lohan
king.
did her Lohan Beach Club MTV show, he interviewed her
Can I say something about
for
that?
the opening show
That's
episode.
My English teacher's niece was on Lindsay Lohan Beach Club.
And I supported her, and she made
she got
it.
slapped in the face. Her name
Yeah.
was Gabby.
And then
with an I, I think.
she got an invitation to work for the Lohan brand.
Every
Yeah.
time I drive past the beach house on Revere Beach, I just think of Alex, and I'm like,
Why?
Lohan Beach Club.
I was the only person who watched that show.
I
the
literally
whole
the
time.
only one I know.
I think
who
there
watched
was
that.
one viewer, maybe two. Lindsay's mom watched
Yeah.
it too.
No,
but
three.
Dina-
Miss
she went
Henry, Alex Locke, and Lindsay Lohan's
Dina
mom.
Lohan went
You
on
may have been, yeah.
Celebrity Big Brother.
who?
But for what
Lindsay
reason?
Lohan's mother.
With Trisha?
No, different
Oh my
season.
God.
But
I
she
don't-
was
Wasn't
getting.
she an Australian Big Brother?
I don't understand Big Brother.
I don't either.
neither.
People love that show. You can like pay to like watch their little cameras.
Who's the brother?
Big Brev.
You are.
Oh
You're
my
the
god!
brother.
Oh, if I could pick a Big Brother would just be Lindsay Lohan, all of her roles, and I'm in the house with all of them. It's my Big Brother.
It's like the House of the
I know
Undying
who
in Game
killed
of
me.
Thrones. Where
Oh
like,
my
Like they
God.
separate. Alex goes in to meet Lindsay Lohan, and they all
If
morph
I could
and separate
collab
into
with
all of her
any
different
Lindsay Lohan
characters.
character,
Yeah.
I'd pick Katie, and then
Hallie Parker.
Hallie Parker, and
From
then
what?
The Parent Trap.
Oh, I never watched it. I was gonna say Herbie Reloaded, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And then I'm picking
Shout out Talking and Living Cars.
Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, Lindsay Lohan. I've heard her
Oh
name.
yeah.
All right.
Those are my three I'd collab with.
I feel like that's literally if Alex did heavy drugs, that's what he would see.
I just
He would see
freaking
all
love
of Lindsay
Lindsay
Lohan's
Lohan.
characters.
Oh my
I
God.
freaking love
I don't
Lindsay
know
Lohan.
if I would collab.
Lindsay
with
Lohan would actually come down from the heavens to like talk to him.
She's not dead.
I
No,
love
that's-
her.
but,
She
like-
just moved to Dubai.
No,
Dubai.
I'm not saying like that she's dead, but like
Oh,
her
like her vision would
history.
come down from the heavens while Alex was on heavy drugs.
like Alex's
Oh my
idea of what Lindsay Lohan represents would like come down
You know
and
that
like
meme
just
with,
speak
like-
to him.
has to be
You know
labeled explicit.
that meme with like Harambe and like there's the stairs and
Oh
like the
my
little like clouds are open. You'd see Lindsay Lohan descend from that.
That's when I know I made it.
Oh my God.
Call us when that happens.
Just shout out Lindsay Lohan and Mean Girls.
Yeah.
It's my fave.
I feel like I
Favorite
like
list.
just think about Freaky Friday when I think of her. Like that's one of
I-
the first things I was exposed
I
to.
think of The Parent Trap.
I love that movie.
Next podcast episode. This is
No,
turning into Lindsay
actually, do we want to say what the next podcast
Wait,
episode
can we
is?
all say our final stance on
okay,
Mean Girls?
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And
I'm
then
ready,
we
though.
transition. All right,
I know.
Lily.
Good movie. I think it was very. I think it's very important to pop culture even now. Even what is it? 15 years later.
Mhm.
I just feel like it's still important, and I think we should maybe learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's stuff you can take away from it. And Lindsay Lohan, she did that.
I can't argue with that. She did it.
Yes,
She did
did
do
it.
it.
I would say if we're talking about it 15 years later, it clearly was really well done, really smart, made an impression on people. It's still funny, even though I'm in my 20s now. I like crack up watching it. And if you want to watch similar things, I would definitely recommend Heather's, a little edgier, or 10 Things I Hate About You if you want something like classic high school.
Joe.
Mr. B.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for it to. I don't know. I've seen so many clips since, like In and Out and everything. It's just been good for so long,
Yeah.
and I don't think it aged badly.
It
I
has
think
staying
this.
power.
Aged
Yeah,
perfectly.
no, the staying power is huge. And there were some quotes that, definitely being older, you relate more to like the adults in the story, but
Yeah.
also like the kids
Yeah, I
aren't
know,
that
you and
much
Miss
younger.
Norbury. Mr.
Yeah,
B,
Miss Norbury,
Norbury.
dude. I was like, yo, Miss Norbury, I feel you on like everything you're talking
Joe's a
about. but,
pusher.
Write it in the book.
Can we make our own PAT burn?
I would.
add to it?
I would
And, no, and then
cry.
That
add
would
to it at
be-
the end of the podcast episode. But it has to be somebody from the book, not somebody from real. No, from the movie we're watching.
I
not
think
somebody
one
from real
may
life.
already exist.
Huh?
No, I'm kidding.
Um,
But yeah,
That's
no,
neither here
Yeah,
nor there.
keep
great.
talking.
Yeah, great
Oh, I
staying.
know I'm added in that. I'm ready. I'm self-aware.
But yeah, no, basically, yeah, I can see why it's in your top 5, Lock. It's one of those. It's one, especially leaving high school like right now.
Oh yeah.
You're kind of just like you're in that spot where that movie probably
'cause
hits
this
hard.
yeah. I'm so glad someone said that besides me, so I'm
Yeah.
not just like crazily thinking about Lindsay Lohan walking past Aaron Samuels and getting beeped at and getting emotional because of that. But yeah, this is my favorite movie for many reasons. The cast, the new emotional level that no one else can feel or may not feel, and I also just really like how 15 years later, it's everyone still knows about it and everyone can reference it, and it's getting adapted into different parts of life.
I have a theory about this
Okay.
movie.
Okay.
Now, this is probably a shot in the dark, but the fact that Tina Fey plays the teacher, who's kind of like that like mentor almost for Katie, do you think that Tina Fey went through not like obviously the same thing, but like something similar to what Katie did?
I watched an interview when Mean Girls, the Broadway musical, was being like why Tina Fey produced the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to remember it was like briefly mentioned how she went through like a patch of Mean Girls, or like knew the concept of the Mean Girls in her high school and how they played a role in her life and how they played a role in everyone's life.
It's universal. I feel like everyone knows
Everyone
one.
had.
It's like such a relatable movie, and I
Yeah.
think that's like even the way they like took the concept and how they added the association to the animal world and how they like they probably jokingly said, let's have Katie be from Africa, and how they took that to like the next level and how they changed it up and like added a deeper meaning once you like really read through the movie.
Word. Yeah, I was just going to say, because it's interesting to hear her talk to the Katie character, but then also know that she wrote it. And so it's kind of like, I wonder if it was kind of like a inner
advice that she
conversation.
Like a
did.
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Where it's like the
Me to me.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it was kind of like a cathartic thing for her, where she
Yeah.
was like, you know what, like people go through this. I did to a certain degree. Like I dumbed myself down at one point, and like I was only able to be successful when I stopped doing that, and like this, that, the other. Like
I have my
Stopped.
platform.
And it's
Let me spread this. Let me know that people like other people are going through this. Like,
it's such
not
a
sure.
a you thing.
lesson that everyone
Yeah.
goes through, and now people laugh on it and they like think like, oh, it's so silly that I couldn't wear those earrings on Thursday back in high school.
And
Yeah.
like being yourself versus like
this
the
movie
pressure
ages
of
with
people
you.
around
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's when you do a good movie, is when you age with it
When you can relate to a different character as you age.
and different stages
100%.
of your life.
Yeah. Can I say something really quick?
Yes.
What up?
I want to say that last time we filmed this, you were like, "Oh, let's all of us wear pink," and I went home and changed today because I wasn't wearing pink, and nobody else wore pink.
I don't own pink.
I don't,
I
own
don't
pink
really
either.
either. Wait, how do you suggested pink and then you didn't?
Yeah,
You have a
that's-
pink sweatshirt.
I was gonna be like,
Yeah,
bring in
well,
4 pieces
I
of
couldn't
pink.
find it.
Oh, dang.
Well,
we have a pink highlighter.
I
Yeah,
have to
and
say
I use pink chapstick.
I'm
See, we're
themed.
good. We're good
that
to go.
I'm
Yeah.
pissed. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Lily, you held it down. You should be proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Took you.
Oh, and you got pink on your
I don't
on your
think we
wrist.
should rely on me for this.
I know it's rose gold, but it's pink.
This is called sand pink. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry,
So
Desiree.
peace out, Mean
salmon.
Girls.
Graphite mauve.
I will
Oh, wait.
watch you next month, most likely.
Can we do a drum roll for my good old friend Mr. B's movie?
All right, so
Yes.
hold on. I
Wait,
got to
wait.
preface this.
Okay.
So I've been thinking about this for a while.
He's gotta preface it first.
No, you have to like build up to it either way.
Oh,
Oh,
my
okay, fair
God.
enough. Yeah, I've been
The
thinking
drum
about this
roll.
for a while, and I went back and forth. And as of about an
Wait, let me.
an
shake
hour
the
and a
keys when
half
you get
ago.
up to it.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
Okay, ready?
As of about an hour and a half ago,
Triggered.
I made my decision. We're going Shrek.
No, you're playing.
I'm
Wait.
1,000% serious. Des is so mad at me right
Yes.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Hey, now you're an all-star.
Yes.
now. Cue Smash Mouth. Cue.
Wait, so-
Cue us getting matching tattoos.
Wait. Back to why I picked this movie, because it was in
No,
my top
no.
5. No. Back because it was in my top. It was one of my favorite movies of all time. Joe, is this seriously one of your favorite movies of all time?
Get your game on.
We're doing top 5.
You like it's
Well-
in your top 5. Like you're being in all seriousness.
I
But
feel
we
like you
said
have to
we said top five like favorite.
Yeah.
Which I would wrap into like that, like nostalgia plays a role here.
Oh, I hear
And
you.
this is also like Shrek all these years later is
Oh.
going to be a one there's mad layers to talk about, word to onions
Yeah.
and ogres.
Yeah.
So like we have all of these, we have so many things to talk
Talk about timeless kids today.
Eddie
Literally,
Murphy's
the
in it.
PYTV kids today
Yes.
still love that movie.
And
'Cause it's
Shrek
good.
is love, Shrek is life, as
Oh
according to
my
many
God.
videos. So I mean, we're gonna dive in and we're gonna have a good time.
There's like a
I'm so excited.
timeline of Shrek, and I think we can really
There is.
indulge
Yeah,
into
and
it.
There
I
is.
feel like also when you're talking favorite movies, you can't just do top. Like I feel like top 5 is really hard to choose. So
Well, that's why I
I
said
break
like
it into
Now,
categories, like
we're-
my top 5
yeah.
this, my top 5 that.
Right.
And I think I'm gonna go top 5 animated as well.
We're gonna bring this back to about 15 minutes ago, where Des was like, these people I met in film school, they were just like, I can't deal with all these
and then
different
Josiah
movies.
said
And then the
Shrek,
look
and
on her
she's
face when I
I-
said Shrek.
it's
so
it's such a
excited
sore
for Joe to give me a movie.
and
He
he
gave
gives
you
you
one.
Shrek.
Dude, I know, because you like went to this effort to do like District 9, and then I was like, we're doing Shrek.
Because it's good.
Joe, you have to do your Mike Myers voice the entire time during the podcast.
I do not have a Mike Myers voice.
I know you do.
What do you mean?
I've heard you do it.
What, the Shrek voice?
Who was supposed to be him before?
Yes.
Chris Farley?
I've heard
We'll
that.
find out next
we'll
episode.
find out next episode, episode
All right.
13.
Stay tuned.
I'm closing the burn book, locking the gate, opening the imagination
He is
world
Alex
of
locking
Shrek,
the gate.
and I'll see you
You're
next
closing
week.
one book to open up. You're closing the burn book to
I'm
open
Alex
up the fairy tale
Locke.
book.
I'm Alex Locke. La 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 la
No, it would be Alex
la
Locke.
Locke.
I'm Des.
Yo.
No, wait, I didn't say I was Lily.
Oh, you are Lily. You're right.
I am. So bye, everybody.
And shout out
Still Des.
PJ Calamities.
I want one of those vests.
Des is a pusher,
I am.
Not my buttons.
and
not
Joe
my
hangs out with
gumdrop buttons.
and Joe hangs out with Trang Peck.
It's like, wipe your face washer.
And the
Mike
projector
back.
right above the auditorium.
Dula is,
Two Hawkins.
Danny
Dulac
DeVito.
is the perfect
Place. Dun dun. We out.